Just a little bit of a follow-on from all the anti-monarchy protesters being arrested. A senior Met officer denies political pressure to arrest coronation protesters. See, whenever, see, whenever there's any kind of like big mass arrest or big crackdown on any kind of group, it was political pressure. It was political pressure. The politicians say to the cops, "Deal with that," and then the cops go out and deal with it. Cops are the arm of the government. Like, that's what they do. They do what the government tells them to do. So see, pretty much all arrests, they're because of political pressure, especially when it's for political reasons. Republic members were detained despite anti-monarchy group having liaised extensively with the force over protest plans. A senior Met police officer has denied he was put under political pressure to arrest protesters during the coronation of King Charles III, as a human rights barrister claimed the use of new protest laws would harm democracy. Yeah, that was the point. Although, getting rid of democracy would be great. But, yeah, that was the point of the laws. Yeah. I mean, the point of protest was to air grievances towards the institutions that govern us. The institutions kind of got annoyed with our complaining and our harassment because we kind of wanted them to, actually do their job and make the country better, which they've not done for a great number of years, and they've just pretty much told us to shut up about it and pass these laws. And there's nothing we can do about it now. There's literally nothing we can do about it now. Apart from every 4 years, we'll vote in some new politicians and sit back and hope that they try and change it. But they won't. They won't. See that law? That's there forever. That's there forever now. There's no way you're going to get rid of it. Not in democracy, anyway. The Metropolitan Police have been under scrutiny for arrests made around the time of the event, including those of volunteers who handed out rape alarms. Why would you need those in London? And 8 members of the anti-monarchist group Republic who had liaised with officers for months to organise their protest. Alice Chambers, a supporter of the royal family who was held in custody for 13 hours after being mistaken for a protester on the Mall, has also lodged a complaint, as you definitely should do if you've been falsely arrested, during a session of the Home Affairs Select Committee, which was briefly interrupted by Just Stop Oil protesters. MPs were scrutinising the use of laws, including the new Public Order Act, to arrest people before they had committed an offence. The session heard that 52 protest-related arrests were made as part of the coronation operation, which was codenamed Golden Orb. Fuck's sake. Asked if he had been under political pressure to arrest protesters, the Met's temporary Assistant Commissioner, Matt Twist, told MPs, "I felt under no pressure politically. I felt pressure to deliver a safe and secure operation, but that was because of the fact that it was a once-in-a-lifetime event for so many people." So apparently, if an event is rare and doesn't really happen, you're allowed to violate human rights. That's the excuse that you're given. You're allowed to violate human rights as long if the event that is being targeted is a rare event. Well, once in a lifetime, do you know what's going to be remembered for a very, very long time? How before the event, the police preempted to violate people's human rights. That's going to be remembered. That's going to be remembered for a very, very long time, and you will always be remembered as the guy who did that. That's your legacy. Congratulations, that's what you'll be remembered as in the history books. Well done. Susie Melvin, a Night Stars volunteer at Westminster City Council who hands out rape alarms to vulnerable women, said she and colleagues had been arrested in Soho despite her organisation working in partnership with the Met. Explaining how officers approached her team members wanting to stop and search them, she told MPs, "We did the best that we could to try and explain who we were to the officers. Then they also searched the church we base ourselves out of. We were told we were going to be arrested. We were then taken in police vans to Walworth Police Station, where we were held. I was interviewed at approximately 1 p.m. the following day, and we were released a little bit after 4 p.m. on Saturday, the 6th of May. The committee chair, Diana Johnson, says it was such a long time for you to be detained, and that she was a bit speechless having heard that account, which is why you always have your lawyer's number. So you can give him a little call and go, "Hey, man, can you come up and try and get me out?" And they might be able to get you out, maybe. But sometimes they want you kept in until the next day. Members of Republic were detained under the Public Order Act before a rally organised in consultation with the Met after officers found straps that protesters said was to secure placards in a van. They were held in custody for almost 16 hours before being released with no further action taken. So it seems they're not filing charges. The arrests were just to get them out the way so that they wouldn't cause a problem, but still, Still a human rights violation. The group's chief executive, Graham Smith, said he and his colleagues had been surrounded by large numbers of officers before they had seen inside their van or knew the straps were there. I had the impression that they had turned up with the intention of detaining us, he says. Yeah, it would have been pre-planned. The officers would have known what you had in your van. In fact, the officers were probably watching you fill your van. You were probably being monitored. That's what I say to everybody, by the way. If you're involved in anything political, anything at all, any political group or activism or anything like that, assume you're being watched. Assume that literally every key you type on your computer is being logged, right? Assume all of that stuff. You are being watched. If you even associate with someone or take a selfie with some big political person, immediately assume you're being watched. You're being tracked. Like, it's just the way it goes. The government is terrified of that shit. It's really weird. Smith told the committee he had been prevented from calling a senior officer who may have been able to confirm that he had liaised closely with the police. We gave every piece of information we possibly could. They made clear there were no concerns. We never had any intention of doing anything unlawful or disruptive. The human rights lawyer Adam Wagner told MPs the arrest of peaceful protesters under the Public Order Act would damage democracy by discouraging ordinary citizens from exercising their rights. And like I've said many times before, this could cause... Yeah, that's the intention, right? See that? Discouraging ordinary citizens from exercising their rights. That's the intention of the law. The law is working exactly as intended, right? You're pointing that out to the government thinking they're going to go, oh God, we didn't realize. They know that's why they passed the law. They know they want people to stop pointing out the dodgy shit they're doing. That is the point of speech laws. They don't want people spreading dissent through the rest of the population. They want everyone to have a certain mindset and certain opinions. They are passing laws to enforce that. Right? They're trying to make sure that they stay in power for as long as possible, and the key way to do that is to stop people from saying things that could jeopardize that. That's what speech laws are for. No, but some griper on Twitter called me the N-word. That's what they're... No, it's not. That's not what they're for. That's the excuse that they're giving to bring these laws in, but that's not what they're for. The government couldn't give less of a shit about that. Hey-ho. Liberal democracy. He said he could entirely understand why the public would be worried. I mean, yeah, when the police just willy-nilly violate your human rights. A little bit concerning. Yeah, to say the least. These are really oppressive potential powers that are necessary to prevent crime. Crime? What crime? Protesting? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, free speech, human rights, they're a crime. But they turn peaceful protest, a really important part of democracy, into something which is a real personal risk, and that is the entire point. It's to put you off of protesting. It's to put you off of it, to stop you from doing it. It is to stifle your speech. It's to stop you from airing grievances towards the state or making people aware of dodgy things that the state are doing. It's to stop people from thinking like you. That's the entire point of it. So pointing out to the government, do you realise this negative effect your law had? Yep, they're fully aware of it. In fact, that negative effect was the reason they passed the law. Right, but yeah, we're going to see an awful lot more of this over the next little while. Lots of protesters like getting arrested. We're going to get lots of groups getting clamped down on. A lot of them wanted these specific laws because as soon as the speech laws come in, there goes the protest. I mean, how long was that now? That was about 7 years. We went from about 7 years from really, really strict speech laws and hate crime laws to protest now being banned. 7 years it took. And what are you going to do about it? Not protest. You're going to rise up against the government? With what? With what? You're not even allowed your fucking butter knives out in the street. And all that, yeah. So it's at the point where you're fucked. You fucked yourself. The government created problems and then offered the solution to the problems it created. And the solutions always involved giving the government even more power. And every single time, everybody fell for it. Every single time, everyone fucking fell for it. And now we're literally at the point where we can't even protest about it in public. So, like, you know, liberal democracy was just a fucking awful idea.